Today I want to talk about why I stress wealth over riches. This mansion here in this video, and for years, I thought this mansion was Kendall Gill's mansion, but this is not Kendall Gill's mansion. This is an NBA player's mansion that I never actually even heard of until actually doing research. I actually basically initially thought this was Kendall Gill's mansion. So I had to just do some searches just to confirm things and see if I can find out more about what was going on with this mansion. But as of doing research, I actually found out that this mansion is not owned by Kendall Gill. It is actually owned by a player by the name of Ken Norman. Okay, and he's a West Sider. He went to Crane High School. He went to U of I, so I'm thinking he might have went to U of I around the same time that Kendall Gill went there. And basically, long story short, they do know each other. They, I believe, were personal friends. Like they mention, and I will put the links in the description as far as what actually happened with the mansion. But basically, they were friends. He was actually inside the mansion with him. They were pretty much friends. But that is not his mansion. That is actually Ken Norman's mansion. But it isn't now because you can see in the video it is boarded up. It's boarded up pretty bad. It's pretty much a derelict property. So the backstory on it is the house was worth about $1 million. Ken Norman, he was like kind of a off the bench player. He averaged about 18 points a game throughout his career. He went to a couple teams in a 10-year time. He got drafted in '87 for the LA Clippers, and then he went to the Bucks, and then finished out his career in the Hawks. So throughout his career, he made over about $20 million. But here's the thing, that was a long time ago. He stopped playing in 1997. I pretty much was a junior in high school. That was over 20 years ago. He stopped playing basketball then. And then you figure in taxes, that $20K, at just the tax rate of 30%, he only got about maybe 16 million, a little less than $16 million after all of the taxes. So that really is a lot of money, especially in the 90s. It's a pretty decent amount of money. He didn't get it all over time. This is throughout his career and his contract. But basically, obviously, he didn't save it. He didn't diversify. He did not actually become wealthy. He was rich. And that's why I don't aspire. I try to stay away from the word rich as much as I possibly can, because one, it's very vague of a word, because there are people named Rich. So it's not really concise. It's a joke with it. As far as, I have a meme that basically I saw online that I reposted, and it's a genie, and it asks a person, you got 3 wishes. What is your first wish? The guy said, I want to be rich. And then the genie says, "Hi, Rich. So what is your second wish?" So it's like, I just do not try to say the word rich. I really try to avoid it like it's the plague. I focus on wealth, 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 wealth. That's pretty much what I think about. I try not to even think about rich because, don't get me wrong, rich is very close to being wealthy. In essence, you do want to strive to be actually rich as far as $1 million plus, or even, I would say, to be even rich is just a net worth of $500,000. It depends on where you are. But in the Midwest, if you have about $500,000, you will be considered rich, I would say. It's a very close, like being rich is very close to being wealthy. But a lot of times, people like this gentleman, I'm willing to bet probably if I looked into him, like I said, I never heard of the guy, Ken Norman. He probably most likely, like a lot of NBA players, sports players, he did not, really have that much financial knowledge, to really like kind of make more money and become wealthy. A lot of players have lost a lot of money. I mean, for him to have lasted 10 years in the NBA and had the life he had is pretty good. I don't know the guy. I'm not bashing him. He actually was born the same day that I was, just a different year. So I know he's a very intelligent guy. He just had a snag and probably was just not well diversified. This house, this mansion that he has, it sold for $180,000. Okay, and the people that bought it, basically, I could see in the video, you might be able to see a little bit, they are in the process of fixing it up. And one thing I do know about, because I'm in the process of trying to fix up a property myself, fixing up property is, it is very, very costly. And the property that I have, it's not even that expensive. I mean, the property that I have is I bought it for less than $10,000, but it's gonna take probably twice that to fix it up. So I'd imagine this mansion to fix up, to fully fix up, fix windows and everything, it's literally got spray paint on the side. I definitely have downloaded a picture of the house. It's a thumbnail of this video. Obviously that is the house. So it's like pretty much it's been abandoned for quite a while. Some people have vandalized it. Some people probably went in there and I don't know, did who knows what, so somebody has bought it and they have to basically go on that property to fix it up. So you could imagine, what does it cost to rehab in an abandoned mansion? So like, for example, R. Kelly, he has a mansion not too far from that area in Olympia Fields, because this mansion is in it's in Flossmoor, right across the street from home with Flossmoor. So to fix this property up, you would need probably at least a couple $100,000 because it's just so big. One thing a lot of people don't know, and the guy from this doing the abandoned mansion, I'm gonna put a link in his. In my video with his abandoned mansion that he's pretty much restoring now. He's not even done, but one thing people don't know, and I know quite a bit about houses. I know quite a bit about construction. I've taken construction classes in college. I've worked construction when I was 19. And I learn a lot about construction daily because constantly looking up, certain things, buying property, looking up property to buy. I mean, I'm not saying I'm buying a lot of property, but I'm constantly looking up property to buy, and I know the cost for most repairs. But one thing about a mansion is mansions are custom made traditionally, unless they are older mansions. But even older mansions were custom made whatever year they were built. And this mansion is basically no different. So that means, basically, in short, you have to get custom everything. If you look at the picture of the windows in the thumbnail, you have to get all of those windows that if they need replacing, which they probably most of them do, you have to get those custom windows. If you could just imagine, just one window probably would cost a couple $1,000s. Okay, that's just one window, and that's a small window. And then each window, you might have about 10 or 15 windows that need replacing. So, I mean, you do the math in that. And then on the inside, the landscaping alone in the picture, I can tell you, because also most people have a big old estate, and they have a lot of property in their lot, basically a lot of land. The landscaping alone is going to probably cost $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000. After you figure in everything, it's going, unless you do it yourself, and that's going to take probably years to actually complete. You might just save yourself maybe 10,000, 15,000 if you're a very good landscaper. I'm a very good landscaper, but I would still need to hire people, and then I would need excavators and all that type of stuff. I would need labor. But the landscaping alone is about $20,000. Okay? You could just roughly off the top of your head, without even walking inside the house. Okay, let's just say outside the house. Outside the house is about, I would say, $30,000 just outside the house. Okay? The inside, couple $100,000. So yeah, he bought it for a steal, $180,000. Okay? For a mansion. Okay? So, and then you got mansions in the area that are about $1 million. So basically, that's a good deal. But he's gonna have to spend, and it's probably why he's still boarding up and it's taking so long. He's gonna spend about 3 times what he paid for the property to fix it up. He's gonna easily, he's gonna spend about at least about $400,000 on fixing this property up. Maybe $600,000, $500,000 to fix this property up. Okay, because mansions because of the square footage, mansions are very, very expensive to fix up. Okay, it just, that's just saying. But back to what I was saying as far as the topic, why I don't aspire to be rich. This is an example of that. Okay, whatever money you got, you should have financial expertise and knowledge. Everybody should, but they don't teach it. They don't teach it in school. You have to. It's one of those things that you have to learn, because a lot of things are designed for you to constantly be broke, to be a perpetual broke slave, to feed, the rich, basically. So it's like you really need to aspire to learn basics, like, just basic personal finance, which is assets, liabilities, a personal financial sheet, a budget sheet, retirement funds, insurance, rent versus mortgage costs. I mean, these are just basic personal financial terminologies, just for an average person. So I mean, a lot of people don't know that, don't how to, basically organize, pay a check, how to pay a credit card off, and how to maintain your balance at a minimum, so your credit score, not be impacted as much. I mean, just simple, basic financial literature. A lot of people don't know. That's why a lot of people are chasing their tail, because they're just kind of shooting off the hip. And one thing about me, what I learned is basically you really do need to have a budget, even if you don't necessarily stick with it. As long as you have a budget, to have an understanding, to know, okay, this is what I need to pay this month. These are the items that I have to pay off, in case, like, something happened and you want to go to that budget as a reference point to figure out, what, I need to calm down because I'm, spending too much money. But to offset that, my millionaire savings plan helps with that, because I basically, as long as I know I need what steps I need to get to and how I need to get there, I can always regroup and get myself together. But this was from years and years of learning and struggles and so on and so forth. But the point I'm trying to make is, riches are not. It's not impossible to be rich. You can get rich in one day. You could go to a casino. You can just, bet right or play right, and boom, you got a couple $100,000 off one of the luckiest nights of your life. Okay, you can. It happens. You can hit the lotto. You can get a deal, some type of deal, or write a book, whatever. It's a lot of ways you can actually get rich really, really quickly. But to be wealthy, which means, what I mean by wealth is you have generations of wealth. Like, for example, the Kennedys, the Rockefellers, the the Johnsons, all these, rich families, they have basically concentrated their wealth, their riches into wealth. And they will never be broke for the most part, because they just diversified and concentrated their money. I could tell you how you can be wealthy without rambling on and on and on. So, like, say for example, let's say I got $10 million. What you want to do is you want to, evaluate, you want to pay off the immediately thing you want to do is pay off your debts. So you pay off your debts, and then you have a clear financial statement. So now you're not worth $10 million anymore. You're worth pretty much 9 point whatever million, depending on how much debt I have or whatever. And you want to create some type of business plan. If you want to invest, that's fine. You want to you want to have a business and invest. Well, you gotta come up with some idea that to basically do it. Like me, I would create an enterprise, because I already have something that's sort of like an enterprise. So what I would do is I would take about $100,000 of my own money, and I would just start off my enterprises, fund my enterprise. I would start an herb shop. I would a little herb shop that's very designed very well. I would have uniforms. I would have all of my herbs stocked. That would probably cost about let's say I would say about $10,000-15,000 to have all of that. I would have my business in an LLC, and then I would have a moving business, landscaping business, as well as a home cleaning, commercial cleaning business as well. So I would do commercial and residential. So to fund that, that will cost a lot more because I would need professional lawnmowers, most likely, and I would need a payroll. I would need to fund my payroll. So they would need so they can be paid for a full year, or a couple years, just have an account for that, for my payroll. And then I would need basically landscaping tools, which is lawnmowers, weed whackers, trailers, all of that. That just for the landscaping, that would probably cost me about at least $10,000. So then, for the cleaning, you can get cleaning equipment for like less than $3,000. That's just for one crew, and I would just start off with one crew. And then a van, you can get a used van for about, let's say, a couple grand. So then, also for the moving company, you need maybe like one or two box trucks, 10 grand a piece, 20 grand, and you'd need a couple dollies, boxes. Let's see what else. You need insurance for all of the businesses. And then also payroll, an account for this company's payroll, and all three of them will have their own payroll, or just one payroll from one source. Either way, and then I would have to have somebody to help me, like a office administrator. So I can do all of that with the $100,000 and still have money left over. And now I have a full-fledged business. I'm the CEO. I would even also have a manager. That will be just somebody that I will be a go-to person to work between my administrative assistant, my manager, and then what I would do is just basically have an apprenticeship service. So each of the positions I would have basically apprenticeships. So each worker, unless you have experience, will be like a 90-day apprentice. And once they get trained, they would get more money. And basically from that, I would farm future assistant managers, managers to run the business in perpetuity, and also to just expand the business. I already know how to create websites, so that's not a problem for me. I can create a website for each one of those businesses that will schedule people. People can go on the website and schedule any cleaning service, any landscaping service, moving service. I already know how to do that without any problems. It won't be like super professional, or super dynamic, or like super design oriented or anything like that, but it'll be a full form platform that people can efficiently go on the site and order services, and it could run like a finely tuned machine. And then I would have, someone else to help with my admin assistant, because it'll be a lot of phone calls. I have a customer service, and it'll be just like a mini startup, a corporation. So I'll have customer service. I've had all these departments, right? So I would have, some people would wear different hats, because it'll be just like a startup. So, people would, have to do a lot of different jobs, a lot of different tasks. But that's one business. And then I also would have an investment firm. I would immediately set aside maybe a few million, maybe like 2 or 3 million to start like a hedge fund, but sort of not really. Well, yeah, like a hedge fund. Pretty much what I would do, I would basically just learn, sell, and buy stocks, bonds, options, futures. I would hire some of the smartest people out of college to start this company. I would go through any licensing that needs to be done. If it might not need to be any licensing, because basically I won't be using any clients' money at first. So I would just use my own money, and I would try to develop a portfolio that basically I can make money off of, and I'm pretty confident that I would be able to make money as far as trading stocks on a level where I have millions of dollars in my account and make decent returns monthly, daily, and quarterly. So I probably can, just with my my investment company, I would be able to make millions of dollars a year just with that. And the other enterprises would just be something as like kind of a project to help the community also make money off of, and hire people, and see if I can grow and make a decent return from those enterprises. And also I would have a real estate company. I would do property management, as well as buy, hold, and sell real estate. All of those, the money that I make from those businesses would go into an account. I would have a corporate CPA to do my taxes. I would definitely make the $10 million that I started with. Within a couple years, if not more, I would probably double that, if not make 500%, which is I would basically make $5 million off of my $10 million, and I would have like $15 million. I'm pretty sure that is possible, if not more, because one thing about money, the power of it is it can make more money for you. So, needless to say, you don't want to really be rich and just be rich. You want to be wealthy, because the money generated, I could have businesses for my children to pass on to, grandchildren to pass on to, wealth to pass on to. This is done. This is how you do it. This is how you stay wealthy. And, you might have problems, but, I don't really know what happened to this guy that owned this mansion. But I used to pass by it so many times, and I used to always look at it, and it just was just kind of up on the hill, and it just looked so cool. I always, like I said, I thought it was Kendall Gill's mansion, but it wasn't. It's Ken Norman's mansion. That he basically he had to sell it to an investor, at a reduced price. So it was abandoned for some years. But it's just an example to me. You do not want to be rich. You want to be wealthy. Like as Chris Rock said, I don't want to be Shaquille O'Neal. I want to be the guy that writes Shaquille O'Neal's check. He's wealthy. But that was said almost 20 years ago, if not 20 years ago. Shaq is very wealthy right now. Shaq is doing what I'm talking about doing on steroids. Okay, so yeah, he's not rich. Shaquille O'Neal is a doctor. He's wealthy. He's very triumphant individual, larger than life. But you know, this is just what I'm saying, man. This is just an example, and I hope this was beneficial to you. It is definitely something that I would say is a reference point for me as well, because you see this a lot, but this is just a prime example. And you know, I will definitely put the links in below to provide more detail about this property, and enjoy this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you have a wonderful day.